So the time is 20 to 11 at the beginning of April, and I'm just starting my solo hike up to the top of Mount Tauhara. Done it once before in the dark for a sunrise summit, but this will be my second time up the mountain. Let's get started. To head up this track here and hope that the hills are nice on me. So, items on the list of gear that Michelle forgot to bring with her today, outside of the rain jacket and just generally rain clothes, trekking poles, which in true Michelle fashion I actually did say to myself, Michelle, don't forget your trekking poles before I left the house today. So they would be really handy for some of these steep little climby bits. Items to add to the list of things that Michelle forgot today. Actually 3. 1, bobby pins. Second one is tissues. Item number 3 is something that I would normally take regardless, but it's plasters because I grazed my knee on a little part on a little rock that I was going up and down, so I'll have to sort that when I get to the top. One foot in front of the other, Michelle. And try not to slip because you're videoing. Here we go. And there we are. Summit. Never ever ceases to amaze. My hometown. So, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I've been on this journey of self-discovery, I suppose, for the last couple of years, and the reason for that is because for the last 9-10 years I've been suffering with quite bad anxiety. I don't like to say severe because there are people out there that actually do have severe anxiety, and I honestly don't believe that mine is the worst, but it stops me from doing things, and for a long time now it's actually stopped me from living the life that I wanted to live. I read a book by Sarah Wilson, who's the I Quit Sugar lady, and aside from drawing all sorts of parallels between anxiety and eating processed foods, especially sugar, she mentioned that her way of dealing with a severe form of anxiety that she also suffers with is to get out into nature and hike and get away from the hustle and bustle of daily life and basically slow everything down. So I actually resonated quite a bit with that because one thing I had noticed in particular was when I was going really fast, whether it felt like I was going really fast in life, or for example driving in a car, something like that, and all of a sudden I felt like I was moving too quickly, that's when my anxiety started. And so I thought, well, there's actually a lot of merit in that. And then I put on top of that the fact that I've done a couple of treks before, just little day hikes, and I really enjoy them for the most part. Most of the time I moan, because I'm a moaner, so I moan because my feet are hurting or whatever. But I started to realise that actually when I'm out in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing around, that's when I feel the best. Even though that does sometimes cause anxiety in itself. So last weekend Mum and I decided to do the Pauakai, not circuit, but the Pauakai crossing in Mount National Park, which is over on the west coast of the North Island in New Zealand. And we got all the way over there and we prepared for it, and at the end of the day we just decided we couldn't do it. We were going to be staying at the hut, and I don't think either of us really wanted to do that, so the weather was shit, so we took the Mangere track instead and walked up to the hut so that we could say that we'd done it, and then came back, and it poured with rain and the weather was shocking and it was freezing cold, but it's probably the happiest I've been in a long time. So I'm working my way up to staying overnight at huts, doing multi-day treks, that sort of thing. And what last weekend actually really did drive home to me was the fact that I have never done an overnight trek before. I thought I better start small. So we've got this beautiful mountain here in Taupo, and it's called Mount Tauhara, and it's really high. I don't know how high, but I'll probably insert some links or something here. And I've been up it once before with my sister. We did a sunrise summit, started about 4:30 in the morning, and so I thought, well, why not go up there during the day and do it solo. So this is my first solo hike. I've got something called the Pacific Crest Trail in my sights, and if anybody knows me out there, they will know that if I set my mind on doing something, then generally I'll do it. About 10 minutes in, I usually decide it's a bad idea. But I like to think I'm a pretty determined person, so let's just wait and see what happens. So you'll remember that I said I had a pretty, well, it wasn't a fall, I just knocked my knee against a canyon. I can not describe it as anything else on the way up the mountain. So my plan was to come up here and be real survival like and use some leaves or something to clean the blood off, because I came not prepared and I have no plasters, but it's pretty congealed now, so I'm pretty happy to just leave it how it is. Looks worse than it is. Couple of comments on my pack actually, because this thing is amazing. This is my Osprey. It's a Daylight Plus, and I don't know how big it is, but I think it's something like a 20 litre. So how's that been today? Pretty good actually. It's packed out with a whole bunch of crap that I don't need, which is actually not much, but I had to bring a puffer jacket just in case it was a bit too cold. So but yeah, it's been pretty good. The only comment that I've got so far is that it was a little bit warm, but I have a feeling that that's more to do with the top that I'm wearing and not the pack itself. So, but it's got more than enough space for my camelback, which is what I've been using for the last couple of weeks. I bought it specifically for the Pauakai track at Egmont National Park, and it just slots into a nice little place right at the back of my pack in there, which is real neat. Or alternatively, there is a special water pouch right at the back too, but I find that that sort of digs into my back when I'm trekking a little bit, so it just sits a bit more comfortably on the inside itself. But there's a whole bunch of neat little pockets. There's some mesh pockets, there's a zipper in the front here. This whole front pouch here is actually a pocket too, so that's where I usually store my phone, and that can clip on or off too if you need to expand that any further. And then the back of the pack itself is pretty standard, so yeah, I'm really happy with it, and it's got all your bells and whistles in terms of strapping as well, but I didn't need to use that today. It's probably, I want to say between 3 and 5 kgs today, with the stuff that I've got, and that's mainly because I had to bring the D5500 with me, but yeah, outside of that it's pretty good, pretty happy. Just doing a little bit of ridge walking here, which is a little precarious, I have to say, like quite close to a steep drop at the edge, but was worth it to get out to the rocks, so it was all good. And the bushes aren't too prickly, like I'm wearing shorts, so it's not too bad. One foot in front of the other. Check out that 80s top knot. Just rocking it out, because again, no bobby pins. Big mistake. We'll have to remember that next time. But just look at it go. It's got its own life up there. Guess I am an 80s child though, so that sort of fits. So I've done quite a bit of downhill, obviously, because it's a downhill track. And what I have noticed is that my toes are pushing against the bottom of, against the tops of my shoes. So I am just running with it at the moment. They cost me $300 or near enough to, these shoes, so I don't really want to have to go and swap them out for something else. But I've just done an hour or so's worth of downhill, and even though my toes are pushing against the top, they're not actually rubbing. So I had them fitted properly and everything, and I did bring that up as a bit of a concern when I was speaking to the guy at the shoe shop here in Taupō. But you know, we just decided to give it a go and see what happens. So far they've been out on 2 outings, both of which have had quite substantial downhill sections, and they seem to be fine. So I guess it's one of those things, I will just have to wait and see what happens. But otherwise I am super stoked with them. They're so lightweight, even though they are a walking boot, not a shoe. They're really heavy duty. I did just nearly twist my ankle back there, and I think I got away with just a light strain, which, touch wood, so far has actually gone away. So yeah, I'm really happy with them, and I would definitely recommend them to any amateur hikers like myself who are just starting out, because these are probably the best I could have expected. So yeah, it's all good.